What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Game Time Podcast. I am Isaiah Hoffman. I am here with my co-host Darrell. As always, we're recording this at 10 o'clock. We do not have Ramon with us. Ramon's going to bed, y'all. So me and Darrell, we don't mind staying up and getting some content out
Us
for you guys.
youngsters stay up pretty late.
So we're gonna get some content done. We have been busy today. Both of us have. But some news dropped. Daniel Jones is the starting quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts. Boy, oh boy, this has drummed up a discussion on Twitter. I was ready to rant tonight, but I am a little bit I feel one way and then I feel another way because I've seen the differing opinions throughout the Colts fan base. But before I get into my spiel, I'm going to hand it over to my co-host who I wouldn't say you're a Colts fan. Are you a Colts fan?
I'm here, man. I'm here.
Because I'm the same way. I'm not a big, since Luck retired, I've never been, which that's another thing we need to talk about when it comes to the Colts, but I won't bring that up yet. I may bring it up in this segment, though, because I heard some Andrew Luck disrespect this week from a certain high media member in Indy that I don't agree with.
Fair enough. You know, one of the things we talked about with the AR when we did the predictions for the record, we said it's 50-50 at that time. You know, one of the things that I think of that helped make their decision to go with Daniel Jones was somehow I feel like they thought the kid's not there yet. He's not there. We're making a tough decision, and we're going to sit him. Here's what I do know. When Mr. Irsay was alive, that was his guy. He even said if we would have got the number one pick, we would have picked Anthony Richardson. When Irsay passed away, this is just where we are. When Irsay passed away, that love for Anthony Richardson kind of maybe went to the side as well. You know, and this could be a blessing in disguise for the young man. Two things. When they did the interview today, when he talked about him being benched, he took it in stride. I saw him with humility, understanding, and maturity. It says they made the decision based on, the team being able to win games and the better player at the quarterback or something along those lines. I saw people clowning him saying, look at him. He doesn't even have any fight in him. He doesn't want to play anyway. So if he would have been yelling and screaming and cussing, they'd have said, look, he's immature. He's not ready. The decision was made. Hell, who knows what went on behind closed doors with him? Maybe he cussed everybody out. There was in the know that told him he was going to be being benched, and he got it all out of his system. But what I saw was a mature guy says, I understand it, I respect it, and I'm gonna do the best I can to continue to get better. He talked about improving on that interview as well. And I don't know if it was a local interview or it was an ESPN or one of the national interviews, national television stations. But what I saw was a guy says, I accept it and I'm going to move on. And maybe, just maybe, him sitting and watching while he's healthy. Now, he sat last year when he was injured. He sat the year before when he was injured. Now he's healthy, and maybe this is a little bit of humbling pie for him and says, I better get it together. I don't want to be Jamarcus Russell. I don't want to be Trey Lance. I don't want to be these guys that got drafted very high, had an opportunity, and dropped the ball. So what happens if Daniel Jones gets hurt week 4, week 5, and Richardson comes in and plays well? You know what happens? He doesn't leave the field again. That's what happens. If Daniel Jones gets hurt and Richardson plays well, you're talking 60% completion percentage, running out of bounds when he needs to, making plays happen, he won't leave the field. That's my call on it. But that means, I'm not hoping that Daniel Jones gets hurt. He's a play away from getting in the game. So that's a little bit my take on the Colts and their decision, along with Anthony Richardson.
All right, I guess I'm up. For me, I'm a little back and forth, right? I think when I first saw it, I talked to you on the phone, right? I was calling him. I was saying some pretty harsh things. I'm not going to repeat them.
Go ahead. We can beat it out, right?
I'm not going to repeat them. But it's just when I first heard it, I was like, man, what a boneheaded decision. I mean, why would you? Why? I mean, Daniel Jones does not put you in any like direction. It's just like, well, it's to save jobs. I mean, that's all that like that's what a lot of people said, and I'm kind
Yeah.
of the same way. It's almost like you did this to try to save your job, and if you're relying on Daniel Jones to save your job, you might as well have them change your passcode to enter the facility before week one at that rate because he's not going to save your job. Look, I think Steichen's a great coach. I think the problem is Ballard upstairs, for sure. No doubt about it. Um, I just don't understand the move. Now, somebody on Twitter, I don't know who it was, said they like this situation for AR because if say Daniel Jones plays bad, he gets to come in and there's not a lot of expectations on him. If he were to start week one, there'd be a lot of expectations on him to perform. Would there still be expectations? Yes, I somewhat agree with the tweet, right? Because if there would be way more expectations if he came in week one and played. If Daniel Jones plays bad or gets hurt and comes into week 4, 5, whatever, and has an okay game and they lose, I think a lot of the fan base would be happy. Obviously, you've got your naysayers, Dan Dockich. You would have your naysayers, but other
He
than
doesn't
that,
count.
I would say I kind of like what the guy on Twitter said. I wish I could remember who it was. It's somebody in the media for Indy, but I personally I kind of like it and I also dislike it, right? Because on one hand, I feel like maybe not Steichen. I don't think Steichen's on the hot seat per se. I'd say Ballard's on the hot seat.
Ballard, yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
Ballard's on the hot seat. I don't think Steichen. I mean, Steichen hasn't been here long enough for me to be like, oh yeah, he's the problem. Like we got enough of Frank Reich for where it was like, okay, it's time for Reich to go. We're not at that point with Steichen yet. I mean, for goodness sake, Steichen took Gardner Minshew, who I think Gardner Minshew's a very solid quarterback. You know, I've never hated Gardner Minshew, but he took Gardner Minshew and the Colts to a 9-8 season. You know, other than that dumb boneheaded call where he didn't give the ball to Jonathan Taylor on 4th and 1 against Houston, Steichen's been okay for the most part in my books. But
No angst there. No angst there. No.
no, yeah, it was a horrid move. I remember watching it live. I'm like, and that's why you pay Jonathan Taylor because he drove them all the way up the field and then they took him out on 4th and 1. But anyways, Sykin's fine in my book. I think this is to save Ballard's job. But I think with the new ownership, with Ursay's daughter being in control, I think she's, when like a new owner buys a team and they're either going to move the team or they're going to make changes. I feel like
Yeah.
that's what we're a year away from at this point. I think
I
we're
don't,
going to see change.
I don't, well, I think change may be in play, man, but here's what I think though, man. I think Ursay's daughter is cut from the same cloth here. I think based off of the small things I've heard about her, loyal, very engaged with what goes on within the team. And she's taken the front, the driver's seat and ran with it, it seems like. Time will tell when a little bit of pressure hits you and questions start being asked about the organization. Yeah. But as it stands now, she hasn't done anything to embarrass herself. It just tells me, that Richardson wasn't, she didn't look at Richardson like her dad did.
Yeah.
I think that's a fair assessment.
I think next offseason, I think there's going to be a lot of changes for sure. And
Well,
then
it needs to be.
Schefter also put out like, I think Richardson's coming up on his 5th-year option. I wouldn't be surprised if the Colts don't pick it up. I could see her be.
Why not pick it up? Why not pick it up? It's not very much money because remember, you're talking about the rookie scale. So it's not very much money. And just think, what happens if he has a year sort of like Sam Darnold did last year coming up next if he doesn't play this year? Because remember, Daniel Jones, 1 year, $14 million deal. 1 year.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if they picked it up, but they don't have to pick it up right now. They can wait. They can wait and see what happens.
I think moving on is harsh. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, you look at the potential quarterbacks in this draft, right? Like I really like Drew Aller from Penn State. Arch is not going in this year's draft. I really don't think that. So I'm not going to say Arch. I really like Drew Aller. I'd have to continue to look at the other class, but Drew Aller from Penn State is a lock for the draft this year, and that kid will be a first-round quarterback whether he's in the top 10 or what. I think Aller's, I mean, the arm, the talent that he has. I was watching Todd McShay. He did a good breakdown of him. He had some worries about him, but other than that, I mean, he's got it all. I mean, if the Colts get to a spot this year where it's draft a new quarterback, because I think for the Colts, and I was talking to my stepdad about it downstairs, why draft a project quarterback and then handle him the way he's been handled? I get it with the injuries and stuff, but still, it's just you drafted a project quarterback and you're not treating him like a project quarterback. That's my issue here. They're expecting, well, I don't know what they were expecting him to do in these first 3 years. And we talked about his college stats a couple of weeks ago, where it's like they didn't jump off the chart. There was going to be some work.
That's why I say the owner had a lot to do with that, man. The man said if we had number one pick, he would have been our number one pick,
and it would have been the dumbest decision.
Regardless of that, what I'm saying is he was enamored with him. So of course they named him the starter. I think in the summertime.
Yeah,
they think in beginning of July. They named him the starter well before they had to name a starter. So I guess, and love for him just showed. And again, there's a chance for him. If something happens, he gets there and plays well, he has an opportunity. I don't think the door is shut on him being in Indy and being a good quarterback.
I'm not saying the door is shut.
He's got the tool. He's got the tools to do it, man. It's NFL. It's different. NFL is different than the NBA. That guy has a great, a good year. They're gonna figure it out. They're gonna make the money work, man.
I think what's just the most frustrating part is, I mean, if Luck was here, this team's a contender. I mean, look at the team. Look at the roster.
Listen. I'm just tell you, Luck, I get it, right? But Luck quit on the team, man. He quit on. Say what you want. He quit.
He had to do what he had to do.
But see, we can't have this guy do what he had to do, and this guy do it. No, he quit. Period.
He quit. He
didn't play out his contract. He quit. We can, how we feel about him is we can feel how we want, but the fact, and I'm not talking about a gray area. Fact, he quit. And Irsay still paid him all his money.
Because
paid him all his money.
If Luck was still here, this team would be a contender. And even then, if they just had,
I don't think a quitter is going to take a team that's struggling to the playoffs and win. He quit.
Come on,
he quit. Okay,
because he quit. Because
clearly
he quit.
You're enamored.
No. Hold on.
He quit, man.
Because he quit. We're just going to disregard the type of quarterback he was?
No, I'm not disregarding the type of quarterback, but I'm making a statement about you have a guy who quit on your team. You don't want him there.
If you look at the roster right now that's around this team in the last couple of years, this team's going to 2 AFC championships. I'm not saying they win, but with Luck as the quarterback, all they need is above average quarterback. I
respectfully disagree.
All they needed was above average quarterback play, and one of the rosters from these last couple of years would have been in an AFC championship. Who knows if he would have played well? If he wouldn't have gotten hurt.
If his head and heart wasn't in it, who says he plays well? That's a big assumption.
Retired. I think he would have played well. He retired for a reason.
Well, no, he quit for a reason. That's what he did.
He retired. He didn't quit.
Retirement is your contract in sayonara. No, you got 3 years left on your deal. In August, you say, I'm done. You quit.
He retired.
Listen, tomato, but what I'm saying is the team was
you sound like Dockage. Dockage was saying the same thing, that he quit. He's a quitter.
Let me be clear. I don't align up with Dockage on anything other than being an IU player, right? Listen, and I don't listen to Dockage, so I didn't hear this.
I don't listen to Dockage either. I just
and I don't care what he has to say, but my point being, the man quit. You can dice it how you want. He quit in August. If a player does that in today's climate, he is called a quitter. He quit. That doesn't mean he's a bad human being. I don't want his children to do well. Even like that.
If you take out Luck, if you bring in an above-average quarterback, I'm not gonna say Derek Carr. That would have been bad. I don't know if Carr does it, but they are a literal one quarterback away from being an AFC title contender.
Potentially, I wouldn't give the credit.
The roster on paper. they're a title contender for the last couple of. You go back to the
I disagree, man.
You
I
go
think
back to these.
They would have a better team than they had, but as far as a title contender, I don't think so. Because you know why? Because Kansas City is still there, Baltimore is
I'm
still
just
there,
saying, like,
and I'm talking about the last 5 years.
In the AFC, I just think they would be like a top 5 team
potentially.
I think
there's a lot of ifs. There's a lot of ifs, man, in this thing, and I wouldn't die on that hill of saying if the Colts had Andrew Luck or a quarterback of that magnitude, they'd be title contenders. I wouldn't say that. No.
I think they would.
I mean, the good thing about this, we'll never know because we have a quitter who's in Stanford right now, and the Colts are on there. This is the 8th starting quarterback in the last 9 years, or something like that, or 7 out of 9. Go back to when
and you know who's giving them their best season was the guy that first came here and
Jacoby Brissett.
Oh, I said Phillip Rivers. It was Brissett first. I don't even count.
It wasn't Phillip Rivers that hitch and go throwing motion.
Rivers got him to the playoffs, so I mean technically he got them the most success. Hey, you know what? Hey, hold on. And I put it out on Twitter. I think you replied to it. I will always have love for Jacoby Brissett because I will never forget that Sunday Night Football game when he beat Mahomes and the Chiefs.
Hey, I call him Jacoby Biscuit, man. Hey, re-sign him, man. Hey, but you know what he did? He gave everything he had as a player.
He did.
And he didn't quit.
And Brissett was solid. His biggest issue was he just held the ball. He just held the ball entirely too long. That was. Other than that, I don't know where he would. I don't know how it would have ended up. But
he's carved out a good career for himself after coming from
Arizona.
I'm not sure where he is now.
Arizona.
He's bounced down a little bit, but hey, you know what? Very respectable career. Yeah. Very respectable career.
I don't know. A lot of people don't want to move on for Richardson, and I'm not even saying move on. I'm just saying if you get a top 5 pick in this draft, don't be stupid.
Listen, here's the deal. If you're going to trust that general manager to make a pick, you're toast anyway. The best thing for the Colts to do is send that general manager packing at the end of the season.
It's like when the Bears had the number 1 overall pick. Why are we debating keeping Justin Fields and Caleb Williams is sitting right? It just you don't do that. You don't do that.
What about Riley Leonard? There's a lot of good talk about Riley Leonard. You roll your eyes. I'm just telling you what I'm hearing.
Absolutely.
I'm just telling you what I'm hearing.
Yeah, I see it too. He can absolutely not.
He's got a decent arm
in the preseason.
He's mobile. No, I'm not talking about as a player.
I'm all
good arm, mobile, and he went to Notre Dame, so he's smart.
That is true.
Come on, man.
I'm good.
Give him some credit, man. Hey, maybe the Colts got their next 10-year quarterback on the roster already, and you don't even know it.
And Carson Wentz was supposed to revive his career,
but who believed that?
And Matt Ryan was supposed to do this.
Than the general manager, no one believed that, but the general manager.
Who else? Gardner Minshew's Richardson's we've been on so many. Man, if this quarterback can just we've had so many of those. If there's a top 5 pick for the Colts in the first round, and you don't take the for sure thing or the quote unquote for sure thing instead of a project, because clearly you can't handle project quarterbacks. Ballard should not be here next offseason. I mean, he should be fired before the draft.
As much as he kisses up to the media, man, that's been his saving grace for the last 3 or 4 years. He swung for the fences with Richardson because he was, on a hot seat then, supposedly. The seat should be melting at this point. Yeah. At this point, with the Richardson situation, it should be melting.
Hey, at this point, just give Kevin Pritchard the keys to the Colts too. He can have both. At this point, because
I don't know about that. I think we need KP to just stay in Banker's life and manage that. He's got his hands full with that, especially with the upcoming season with Tyrese not being there and losing Miles in the summer. So he's got some work, some retooling and stocking to do. There's still talk about. I don't want to get Pacer talking football, but there's talk about some other things going on, but I don't want to get to my Pacers. And then I get to smiling about my boys. So I'm good.
But final thoughts for me, it's just I don't know. I guess this video makes it seem like
what's the give me the Isaiah Hoffman, Colts prediction. No, I don't need you to lose it, blowing a gasket. But what do you think? He's already shook up. He's already losing his mind.
I
We haven't even talked about the Cowboys
there
yet.
we go. I ripped my mic out. Speaking of the Cowboys, I was just about to say, I hope the Colts do really bad, but I hope the Cowboys do even worse. And that makes Arch declare for the draft. So that way we get Arch, and the Cowboys can have, and the Colts can have Drew Aller, or
I'm telling you
whatever
now,
his name is at Penn State.
Arch Manning's going to be in L.A.
The Rams?
He's going to be in L.A. One of the L.A. teams. He's going to be in L.A.
You're done. This ain't the NBA, Darrell.
It just wouldn't surprise me. It just wouldn't surprise me.
Well, if he doesn't declare this year and he declares next year, then I agree with you. But I don't think it could happen this year.
So the understanding is he's not coming out. Again, you never know until the last day that you put your name in the hat. But that family, he doesn't need the fame. He needs to continue to grow as a quarterback.
I'll tell you right now,
like his uncles did.
He needs to listen to his who would it be? Is it Archie?
His grandfather's Archie.
He needs to listen to his grandfather, because if the Saints get the #1 pick, you need to go talk to Grant to Pat and make sure he doesn't go to New Orleans
don't make
like his grandfather did.
Don't make that emotional move to New Orleans, man. No.
Tell him no. Tell him no. Do not replay your grandfather's career. Tell him no. Tell him don't go.
But not no, but hell no, right?
Hell no. They are in cap hell. Do not go there.
Definitely. But no, I would just say this, man, just as to wrap it up. The Colts got a lot of holes to fill. Quarterback is one of them. Absolutely it is. Jonathan Taylor is in his 7th year this year, I think. Right, running backs in their life. He's like 28 or either 29.
We're seeing a revival though, like with star running backs lasting a little longer. We're starting to see a revival. Gurley, Elliott, they kind of killed it.
Well, Gurley had the injury.
I'm just saying, like when you think of who killed the market, everyone says Gurley, Elliott, and Bell killed the market. But it seems like with the crop of running backs we have right now, they're starting to revive the market a little bit.
Well, the other thing about this, those guys you just named were bell cows, 20 to 25 carries a game. These guys are now getting between 15 and 20 a game, and it's not nearly as much pain and bodily harm on them.
But that also really I think that helps carve out who's actually a good running back, instead of being like, well, you can get a running back whatever. It's like, no, I think we're getting back to a point now where it's like.
And that's in part why the market is so dry. Look what your guy Cook got. He got 4 years, $48 million with $30 million guaranteed. As a star running back for a team, you got $30 million guaranteed. Man, you got defensive ends. You got 3 of them that made more than that, done more than that. Defensive ends.
Yeah,
they don't score touchdowns.
But they make a difference.
Yeah,
they make a difference.
So, but I still say that the running back position is still undervalued. It's still they got a ways to go yet. It's not the mid 90s when you got a guy, running at 25 to 30 times a game. We're not there yet, and we're not back there now. And I don't know that we will be, because there's so much more talent at the running back position.
But final thoughts. Ballard needs to lose his job. Hopefully the season goes bad. I will be watching. We may be doing weekly reviews for the Colts, but if it gets bad to a point where they're like 0-7.
Well, no, we should do a Colts recap. We're in the city. We've got a lot of fans that are going to be watching us. My guy Reggie told me today, he said, man, when are y'all going to be on the show again? I know you're going to be talking about the Colts, so I can't wait till he hears this. We're talking about the love of his life, the Indianapolis Colts.
Well, Reggie, comment below and tell me what you thought of Andrew Luck. That's my since Luck's left, it's felt like a nasty separation between me and the Colts. I just don't
That's
love
a divorce. Separation is there's still a chance. This was a divorce.
I just don't love them the same. I was definitely a Luck guy. I was not a Colts guy. I was a huge Luck guy. So it is what it is. But folks, that is going to do it. That's going to do it for this one. We're going to talk about college football next. So when we come back, we're going to talk about some CFB. We'll see you next time right here on the Game Time Podcast.